guys, welcome to the channel. It's Adam with ND72. So today, we got the Sl55 back up in the garage. So, we're going to be doing some go fast, fun parts today. We're going to be trying something new and doing something that I've done 2 times before, 1 time on the channel, and I love this mod. This mod's going to make the car sound better, go faster, and look cooler on the engine bay. So you want to know what those mods are? Right here. This is VRP's 92mm Hellcat billet, full throttle body kit, everything. I'm not going to use all these pieces because some of the pieces I like better what I do, but majority of them, it's a very nice kit, it's easy to assemble, and it works very well. And then what we got right here. So my Sl55 is an 03. It came with, you know, the Supercharger, but it came with a 280 Supercharger. So from my understanding, there's 3 variations of these Superchargers. A 280, a 580, and a 080. Now, from what I'm understanding, the 080 is for the DDM stuff, which is secondary block-off plates gone, a couple other things. And then from what I'm being told, I don't know how true this is, I'm told, now, I'm not the one who said this, but I found it on multiple forums, and if anyone on the comments, please say below. A 280 and a 580, the difference is the gearing of the Supercharger. So you can make more power with a 580, and that it has other characteristics that make it a better overall Supercharger, get more power. I don't know if that's true, but if they are exact same, they have 2 different part numbers, so something has to be different. And the 580 is the newer one, so clearly they found something wrong with the 280 in Mercedes world, and they upgraded for whatever reason. So I have a spare good one, literally in my parts bin. So what we're going to do is a complete Supercharger, intercooler, everything. So we're going to strip this one down and rebuild it. But the one thing that people were saying that's a big difference that I will have to check on is they said surge tanks are different. So I have my factory surge tanks down there before I powder coated them. I'm going to match up the part numbers on these and see if there's any difference. We'll do some measuring if the part number is different. But if not, even if there's something so small about this newer Supercharger, like the casing's a little bit different, or whatever it may be that's just a little bit better, it's going to help us with performance down the line and reliability. And this Supercharger has a lot less mileage than my Supercharger. Nothing wrong with my Supercharger, still works perfectly fine. So my plan is to strip this one down. If I find nothing really different with it, then this whole throttle body set is going to go on here. It's going to help me with my my whole install thing, because I'm going to do this in a few days. It'll be one video for you guys. But like tonight, I'm going to strip this down, rebuild it, let all the glue sit, and then tomorrow, when I'm ready, I can literally pull one Supercharger off and put one on. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So, we're going to start cutting this open. I'm going to start disassembling this. And if I find anything weird, I'll tell you guys in fancy YouTube land. Alright everyone, so what we got on the table is I started to strip it down. So, first bad part. Do you see all this oil? The Supercharger is now leaking from oversitting and anything like that. So I have a leak up in the front, which the seal sucks to replace. Also, this plug for the Supercharger is a little destroyed. Now eventually I'm going to go to fixed. But for right now, I still have a clutch style. So that's another bad thing. Also, what I found, you know, everyone said these are the same, the surge tanks from one to another. They actually are not. They have 2 completely different part numbers, and I measured them. The ones for this Supercharger are taller and have more volume inside. Now, why that's a problem? Not at all for performance. They do bolt right up to whatever Supercharger you want to put. So it'll bolt up to this Supercharger because I tested it. But I just powder coated these, and it looks so good. So I do not want to do that. And also, I want to do some more testing on this one for a few reasons. This is not a bad Supercharger. I'm not saying it is, even a little bit. But I want to keep this one as a spare now, and I want to fully rebuild it. So what I'm thinking about doing with this Supercharger is, you see this snout? You know how I already have a leak? To fix this leak that is basically in between this clutch or the magnet, you got to rip it off. So, I might go clutch delete pulley on this setup like I did with my SLK32 back there, which I love. So I might strip this one all down, rebuild it, send this one to go get porting, because I eventually want to have a ported Supercharger on one of my cars, and there's no point of porting the 280 if the 0280 is not the best version, then I could basically strip this down and rebuild it for a future build or upgrade on one of my cars, either my E55 or my SL. So this is not going to be going on the car anymore today. But we still will be doing all the VRP 92mm stuff. But we just have to do it to this supercharger, which is not even that big of a deal. I'll show you a quick little to-do, but I already shot a video on it, so we'll fly through it pretty quickly. Oh, and if people don't understand what I'm saying about the 280 stuff, all right, so right over here is a part number for your supercharger. You see how it says 280? That's what type of supercharger is it. This one will say 580, and then if you ever find one that is 080, that is the best supercharger. That has the biggest everything, no block-off plate, blah, 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 blah. It's a DDM one from my understanding, but it did come out on a few of the Mercedes. So, it is unfortunate we're not going to be able to use this as a good upgrade, but still, this box right here is going to make the car sing and look all cool. Oh, look, I also got some stickers and a keychain. So I'll pull up everything that's in here. I'll put it on the table to show you what comes with the kit, because from our understanding, this is a full, complete, done-up kit, everything you really need. So, let's clean this table off and look at it. Yeah, look at that thing leaked all over the table. Okay, give me a little bit. I'm going to clean this whole table off because also that stuff stinks. If you guys know any of the jet fuel stuff, it doesn't smell that good, but it doesn't look burnt at all. It just has probably a big leak. No biggie. All right, here's everything you get with the kit. Everything on this table is what comes with the kit. From my understanding, except we're missing one thing. We were missing a little gasket. That was a little rope-style gasket, but I'll just make it out of silicone. No big deal. You get a 92mm Hellcat throttle body, which looks pretty effing brand new. You get the billet snout adapter. Now, one cool thing about this whole combination, from my understanding and what they say online, what I saw people do is, so if I ever go Whipple in one of my cars that I have this setup on, all I have to do is rebuy this piece that will bolt onto the Whipple setup. Because right now, this one is for the Mercedes, but then I don't have to rebuy any of this else. I just need to rebuy this, which I'm assuming can't be more than like $100 to $200. No biggie. And then it also comes with all the hardware you need. It should be coming for all the adapters and all the plugs. And then it has the harness and the Y-pipe. Now, everything on this table I will be using, except over here. I'm not going to be using their Y-pipe, mainly because I like my mushroom style. And I'm not going to be using their harness, mainly because I heard one or two bad things about it. And I have my own harnesses that worked perfectly good on 4 of my 92mm cars. So I'm just going to rock my one out. So I'll put that to the side. If anyone wants to buy these, I'll sell them to you. Just hit me up. So this kit comes with almost everything you need. And I will say this, these 2 billet pieces are really nice, and they do make the engine bay pop. I don't think I'm going to powder coat them. I think I'll just leave them like this, just because I do like the way it looks. It's so cool. And if I ever want to like paint my supercharger, I probably will just paint it silver to match those, like try to like a brushed aluminum look. So very happy, but let's start knocking this out. First thing, we'll be ripping all this apart. All right, so before you even start like modifying your supercharger, you're going to have to remove it. So what I'm going to do first is undo the belt. Belt is pretty easy. You're going to take a 17, pull your tensioner back, remove your belt. Not that bad. And then you're going to literally remove each one of your surge tank bolts, which are T30. So you're going to go boom, 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 boom. And then right down there, see that little silver clip? You're going to unloosen that. That's going to be a 7mm. That way you can take your surge tanks off. And then you're just going to keep going step by step by step. Okay, next, you're going to be removing the bolts that hold the fuel rail on, which are 4 of them right here, right here, right here, and right here. They're literally like, just stare at the rail, and you're going to be able to see it. Those are going to be a E10. Well, they should be. Clearly, now that I'm looking at it, that's not even the same bolt as the other one. Look at another mystery bolt. So there's supposed to be E10s that do that 1, 2, 3, 4. But clearly not on mine, so it is what it is. But I'll knock those out really quick. And then we're going to swing the rail over. I'm going to have to remove my filter too to get that out of the way. Alright, before you pop off the fuel rail, undo your old throttle body, just kind of get it out of the way. There are T30s and there's 4 of them. So now that you got that out of the way, you could pop up your fuel rail. Try to do it kind of evenly. Alright. get it popped up, and then undo all your clips for your injectors. Yeah. You might need a little pick or screwdriver to pop some of these out. Just be careful, don't break them. There we go. Now some fuel might come out. Just be careful, because I literally just popped one whole injector out, which it should have been clipped in. So now I'm dumping fuel everywhere. Apparently, this injector was not clipped in properly, because that should not have just came out. So we'll deal with that when we got to deal with it. Alright, now to start unplugging a few things, you're going to be plugging a few sensors, which is our air temp sensor, which is going to be in the back over here. You're unplugging your throttle body, kind of scoot that out of the way. And then you're going to be unplugging your bypass valve sensor. Kind of scoot those separately, like put your throttle body on driver's side and the bypass on passenger side, because you could mix up the plugs and they will plug into each other. So don't effing do that. Also, you have a little purge solenoid that goes right over here. See this little booger? You undo that from the back of the supercharger too. And then now, this should be... Oh no, we got a map. So get your map sensor out. Get that unplugged, which is right here on the side of the supercharger. Not that bad to get to. And now I can see mine's a little broken. But I don't actually have another one. So it didn't fault out, so hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah, we're going to hope. So now we're going to start pulling the supercharger off. I shouldn't be missing anything. Let me think. Oh, yeah. One thing I always forget. Undo the plug for the clutch. So your clutch style supercharger, you got a plug over here. Undo that. Scoot that bagger all the way. And undo your coolant lines. I actually always forget that. So we're going to undo those now. Alright, so you're going to want to undo your two cooling lines from over here. Any way you spin it, you're going to make a mess. So just put a bucket under there. I like to use vice grips to grab these little connectors, or clamps, whatever you want. There you go, clamps. And then I just scoot them down, put them pretty far down there, and then do the same thing with the other one. It's not too bad. As long as you don't, like, let them fly off somewhere or break them, they're not that bad of a thing. And then just squeeze them out, wiggle them down, try not to break them, and be very gingerly gentle with it. There you go. I done some cooling work not too long ago, so these should pop out pretty easily. Yep. And then it's just going to start dumping all over the place, which it's going to suck. But it is what it is. And also get your belt out of the way so you don't get that covered in water. Or coolant, whatever you wanted to put in there. It's your life, not mine. Okay, so now that you got the water lines and all that stuff off, we could start getting ready to unbolt the supercharger, because it should be almost ready to come out. So you're going to start off, since I have the secondary air delete, I have an Allen there. Normally you'll have the T45, and then you're just going to walk your way down. You're going to have one... Wait a minute, hold on. Oh my effing God. Well, let's try to see if I can show you what I can see. So let's put a light. There, can you see? Right there is supposed to be, get my finger in there, a bolt. I do not have one. Ugh, I'm missing a supercharger bolt, because they're supposed to be, basically, let me see, get right there, Mr. Light. Right down these holes. See how you can see that one right there? So you're supposed to have the one right there, and then you have one right there, and then you got one right there, and duplicated on the other side, but clearly, I'm missing one. Okay, word of advice, guys. If you're losing a bolt like that, go get a new one for $2. That could be a cause of a vacuum leak or something crazy like that. I'm hoping that bolt isn't somewhere random, but I don't really know, because clearly these are plenty of signs that someone did work on the motor and work on the car, which that's okay. Just put the bolts back. That's simple. I'm finding a lot of mismatched bolts or not even bolts being there, and that's kind of an important one, because clamping down the supercharger. Now, heck, I've been driving this car around for a few months now. No issues, so I guess it's not too important. But I'm going to find one and put it in there. Even if I have to order it from Mercedes and it costs me $5, I promise you guys, I will be putting a bolt in there. But let's just keep going and start whizzing those out. Alright, you can start on whichever side you want, passenger driver. One thing I recommend is have a magnet with you so you don't drop any hardware. And ow, that was a loud noise. Hopefully I don't miss any more hardware or lose any. So we're just going to go down there right with our little extension and start going one at a time. Stay light. And I can tell you right now, those weren't torqued properly, because that was This gun's on the lowest setting, and I've done a lot of these, and usually it goes da-da-da. That one probably was. So we'll go each one, pull one bolt. Oop, I think I missed one. Two bolts, 3 bolts, 4 bolts, and then the Allen's going to be the last one. So now we're going to hop over to the other side and knock those out. Oh yeah, this side definitely was torqued on properly. See? Well, maybe too much on that one. Yep. Way too torqued on that one. I'm going to have to get something else. Oh, holy poop. If this one is cross-threaded into this block, I'm going to be so effing mad. Okay, there we go. 1 bolt. 2 bolts. That's all that we're really holding that side. Now this one over here, you got this little arm bracket to pull the motor out. You got to break that bolt loose, but I just leave it in there like that because it's not going to go anywhere. Now let's work on my Allens. Alright, so what we're going to be doing next is the Allens for your secondary air pump, which is just a 5. And now remember, these should have gaskets underneath it, so be gingerly when you pull them up so you don't drop a gasket. See? Fancy gasket. If you remember my last video, whoever worked on this car before decided these didn't need gaskets anymore and didn't put them in, so I had to get new gaskets. F my life. Okay, now you should be ready to pull this supercharger off. Now I recommend always do this with a wife, a husband, a friend, a something. Do not do what I'm about to do. Do not try to lift this by yourself. I've done 4 or 5 of these like this. It really, really does suck, but it's doable. So I got my flashlight here, and I'm hoping I did not forget to undo anything because I'm going to put myself in a weird position and get it out. Also, I usually put a tarp over here, but I'm not going to say why my tarp is being used right now, my blanket, but I can't use that right now. So I got the box that VRP sent me for the whole snout system, so I feel like that is fitting. So we're just going to lift it up, place it over here, and then I'm going to hop out of the car, and then we're going to put it on my little dolly. So this is not the best way to do it. It's just how I'm going to do it and how I've done tons of these. So the big thing is double check to make sure you didn't leave any lines, any hoses, because if you get snagged up when you're pulling this by yourself, dude, it really effing sucks. So let's get to it. Let me take my phone out of my pocket, pull my pants up, tighten that belt up, and then make sure my Crocs are in sport mode. I think that's what you call it, all-wheel drive mode. And then watch where you step. And if you hear any cracking, get the F off. That one, I'm too old for that. Too, okay. So put your feet on some structural support, not on a clip. And make sure you can wiggle it one way. Make sure you can wiggle it the other way. Oh, shoot. Doesn't hurt cracking. Let's see if I can do this again. Oh yeah, well, definitely dropped something, but put that there. Make all the noises you want. They actually do help. And don't fall like I almost just did. Now, I'm gonna lift this and put it on a dolly. First, get this effing white light out of my way. Oh yeah, I'm pretty strong. Alright, now that you feel like a real man, big and strong, and you got your supercharger out all by your lonesome self, now what we're going to do is, ooh, lighting is kind of going back and forth in this one. Now we're going to actually check our valley down there and see if we have any debris or any bolts that might have dropped, mainly because we were missing some from the beginning. Alright, I don't really see any. There's a little bit of oil, which there always are. Oh, there's a few clips, just like debris, but also we're going to take our gaskets off. I got new ones of these, so we're going to take these off. And we'll put them to the side just in case because they don't really look bad. And then we're going to take some painter's tape and tape out all those ports because I do not want to drop anything in there. And then we're going to start ripping apart this supercharger and making it go wee, wee, crying. Or singing? I don't know what you call it, but we're going to make it do that. Okay, so you might be wondering why I got my supercharger on the floor on this little dolly, because I found out it's so much easier to do these on my chair, on the floor, on the dolly than up on the table, because I could just like rotate it around so easily. This thing has wheels, so if I need to move it really quick or flip it, it's just so much easier. So what we're going to do is start, you need to flip it over, and you need to remove the intercooler. So just rotate this bad girl. See how easy it is? Oh, we dumped out even more liquid. There you go. Get your rags. And since I'm dumping out all the liquid on the floor, it's better than on the table and dripping all over everything. So, now we got that done. Pretty easy. One thing I am going to do is you see these little ports right here for the coolant that are literally dripping everywhere right now. I'm going to mark them with some paint. That way I kind of know the orientation of them, because we have to break these loose to get them out of there, because you cannot get to these back bolts without doing that. So let's get the camera closer and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so to remove the intercooler, you see these bolts? 1, 2, and the same on the other side. And then you also see these hoses. These are for your intercooler lines. So I like to mark them so I know the orientation, because if you spin these pipes around, it's going to suck to get it back in. And we got to break these clips off, and we're going to go with new style clips. Unless I could reuse these just really effing suck. So we'll start spinning these off. So now that you got them marked any way you want, you can pop these clips off. I might need a better screwdriver, or put this effing light down. These suck, see? There's a special tool to do it, but I don't got it, so yeah, they effing blow. I'm gonna have to take you guys out of here. Alright, so now you can start getting all your bolts out. It's not that hard, I already got the other side done. Take that, put those 4 to the side, and now this intercooler is either going to be glued on or gasket on. There's 2 ways. Oh, we got one more thing to do, I forgot. Let's spin this bad girl around. Okay, also, if you can see I already started pulling off, you have 2 bolts over here. So you have one on this side and the one on the other side that are holding the intercooler on by these little tabs. So you whiz them out. I already did one of them. And they are longer than the ones that actually hold the bottom part of the supercharger on. So let's do one on each side. Let's see if I can show you the other side. Ah, all this other stuff in the way. Can you even see it? Yeah, you see it. So see it right there? This one's a little bit harder to get to just because you have the throttle body in the way. But you should be able to do it with an extension. I don't know if this is going to be the best view for you. Come on, little girl. Got it, see? And now you got all those out. Shove your hand in there like a man. All right. Now you should be able to separate it pretty gingerly. Alright, that's going to take some prying and some work. And just be careful when you pry it. Don't crack anything, and just be very gingerly. Alright, so when I'm popping them up, I'm just going to put a little pry bar over here gingerly, and just go. There you go. And then you got the donut right back there. There you go. Pop it. And now you got your intercooler all off. This can be thrown in the trash. I'm 100% kidding. Just put this to the side. Okay, so now we got my supercharger. I want to kind of give it like a once-over look. So we're just going to spin it. It sounds really quiet. I'm checking all my rotors out. I don't see no damage. No nothing really. They didn't put too much silicone on here, which that's not that bad. Not bad. We're checking backlash a little bit. Like, nothing. This supercharger is pretty effing good so far. So now one thing I do see, my runners are a little bit dirty, so we're going to clean all those off, scrape all this off, and then we got to start stripping everything else down off of this. But we'll do that tomorrow because as you can see, it's getting pretty dark and you can hear a lot of pop noises. So we're going to call it a day for me, but we'll see you guys in a few hours. Alright, next we're going to remove the snout. So you got a bolt here. And remember, these were the 2 that were holding the other tab for the intercooler. And then on the bottom, you got boom, boom. 2 more. So it's going to be the same thing. Get your T45. And now that snout comes right effing off. So there's a metal gasket. Whoops, just drop that bolt. Put that to the side. There is a factory metal gasket that goes over here. This one seems to still be fine. We will put that to the side a little bit. And then we'll kind of examine everything. So we have a little bit of oil in there. That's fine. I want to check out these bearings. Give them a nice clean wipe down. Because you see a little bit of just debris. But everything looks good. So now we're going to wipe that down. And then get ready for the snout. Okay, so you're going to use your factory gasket. And I like to thread my bolts in there, and I put a dab of blue Loctite on there. And then we're going to thread them in, just to kind of like get them lined up and started. Don't cross thread these, don't have any issues, just be gingerly, just be safe with it. Get them all in by hand. All right, once they're all in there kind of by hand, I'm just going to use this just to whiz it in. Make sure bolts clear, they don't hit nothing. That one's no good. That right there had a problem. Alright, pulling this whole thing back out. Alright, so if you can see why I was hitting over there and I stopped, good thing. You see how it's hitting right there on the side of it? So, whoops, I looked back at my previous videos, and this is supposed to come with a whole new bag of hardware. So I'm missing a bag of hardware, which it is what it is, because these factory ones work good on the bottom. So I'm going to use those. And then I just went and found another bolt I had. This is basically the same thing VRP is using. And this one will drop right in. I tested it. It should all work. So now we're going to put the gasket back on and put that bad girl in. So, word of advice. Before you start this job, make sure that VRP sent you these 3 bolts. Remember how I was saying I had a rubber gasket? Also, when I looked back on my previous videos, right over here, they used to make a groove for that rubber gasket to go in. They don't do that anymore. I don't know why, but they just don't. So I'm just going to put silicone over there. It's not going to really damage anything. But first I'm going to torque these down, because I don't think I could get to these bolts with everything on. Maybe these two, but I don't think I could hit this one. So we're going to torque them all down and make sure they're all tight. And yeah, like I said, I put a dab of Loctite in there, so this really shouldn't come off. But also, look how much more like room, like how much this is ported out compared to this factory snout. Like the factory snout has this whole big chunk of metal, which if you look, you see down there, you're basically just slamming into this, and it is now such a smoother area going over the rotors to allow air in there and everything like that. This setup is pretty nice. Now, as I'm looking, if I ever wanted to port my supercharger, it looks like I got a lot of meat right there, where you could port the whole supercharger part out and really clean it up a lot. Like, there's a lot of extra. So we're going to torque these down, get them all good, and then keep moving on. Okay, so now we're going to do the part of adding the silicone and everything like that. So I got my Porsche silicone. It's basically, it's the exact same thing as Mercedes, just actually $10 cheaper. And we're going to make our gasket going around here. Boom, boom, boom. I got everything cleaned off, and then we'll mate it to there. So I'm going to make my gasket and then show you after. All right, now that we got your coat on there, you're just going to take your new snout. Let's kind of zoom this bad girl out. You're going to take your new snout, put it in there, do bolt by bolt by bolt. It's not that bad. Pretty easy. Just go slow. Try not to use an impact. I'm not using an impact. I'm going to use a gun just to help whiz everything on. All right, next up, now that you got those all torqued down, now the one on technically the top, which is my bottom because I'm flipped, you're going to need a ball 4 to tighten it up. And I do these at 10 Newton meters. Just don't go too much. You could snap them off, or you could strip them out. Next up, we're going to be doing the intercooler setup. So I cleaned off my whole mating surface over here. I'm going to apply more of my silicone and then mate it up. Once again, it's the reverse order. It's pretty effing easy. You shouldn't have to machine anything down or anything. But just, I'm going to mock mine up beforehand just in case. Oh, also, one thing you should do, where is it? See this donut? Replace it. Because usually, they get pretty, like, worn out and pretty crappy. Let me see if I can even pull mine off. Geez, mine is so on there, I can't even really pry this bad girl off. And it's supposed to be very flexible. Like, I'm going to have to do 2 hands. Hold on. Okay, these are common boost areas. I literally had the same thing in my old video. Like, watch this. Like, that should not be like that at all. So, ironically, I should not have done that before I verified I had a second one. No! But I'm pretty sure I ordered one. Yes, I did. So, here's the Mercedes part number. Focus. Let's put this down, let it focus. There you go. So, you have to order one and look at. This is how squishy they're supposed to be. So, I'm going to put some dielectric grease and slide mine right on. This is definitely was not sealing properly. I might have been having some issue, but, like, look at, like, ow, that's even sharp to break. That's just breaking, and this one just goes squishy, 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 squishy. So I'm going to throw this one on, and then we'll start getting the supercharger back together. Okay, so one other thing you want to do before you put your intercooler on is you see this little barb fitting VRP sells you, or gives you. It's with the kit, blah, blah, blah. You're going to put some Teflon tape on it, and then, wow, I almost left that up. You're going to thread it into that hole. This is for your purge solenoid stuff. So we'll thread that all in. Let me do this properly. We'll thread it all in there, and then we're ready to put the top part on. Alright, so now we got all of our silicone over there. I kind of went the same way Mercedes did with the 2 little beads. I put a little dielectric grease right over here where my donut's going to go in. And now I'm actually going to drop my intercooler on. So just be gentle when you do this. It's not that hard, but you could F stuff up. Okay, so getting the donut, you got to make sure that you're not rolling anywhere. So if you can see I'm going very slow with it, make sure all my things are there. So I'm not rolling it anywhere. It took 2 or 3 times because just be very effing careful. And then smush it down. Okay, so if you could see right up here, you put your fingernail up there and you could actually see if your donut is fully seated. It might take you 1 or 2 times, but yeah. And then also, try to wipe off all the excess silicone that might have came through. Like I think I got some up there, or that's just like dirt. Oh no, I got some over there. So just kind of clean it all off. That's the good thing about this huge effing like hole for the throttle body. Before you put it on, just clean everything off over there. And then let this sit a little bit before you start, like before you even fire up the car. But you really should have enough time to let everything kind of sit and cure. Because now the last part of the silicone is going to be, if you didn't buy the gasket for the throttle body, it's a throttle body. So I'm going to silicone that. I'm going to flip this bad girl over, bolt it up, silicone that. Then I'll let the supercharger sit for roughly an hour as I go eat and hang out. Then we'll be throwing it right back on the car. Not bad. All right, next up, you're going to be doing the throttle body. So I didn't buy the gasket. VRP, I don't think VRP sells it, but I did find it somewhere else. I just use silicone like everyone else says you could do. So, because we're going to try it this way, silicone actually does work. So you have 5 bolts they send you with the VRP kit. Because this kit, as you see, is drilled multiple times. You can fit, I think, a few different throttle bodies on this. So the Hellcat throttle body that you get with the kit will come with 3 bolts that are the same length, and 1 that's different, and then 1 that's even longer than this one. So you want the middle ones and the 2 small ones. So the middle length one is going to go right here. It's not going to go in this hole to the left. It's going to go on that one. And your throttle body is going to sit up like this. So you'll take that bolt. So I'm going to try to have all my bolts already placed. So hopefully I get lucky since this is silicone and not an actual metal gasket. And see if I can get it in there without like messing anything up too much. See if I got ducky. Wow, look at that. Going right in. You don't want to slam these in. If they're not going in, keep wiggling it a little bit because you do not want to cross thread them. Now that you got them all snug by hand, you can go and torque them all down, and then you're done, almost, putting this whole supercharger together, ready to go on. So, another cool feature about the VRP setup is you see all these ports. They give you all these ports if you want to ever add anything, like just say if you want methanol injection, if you want nitrous on there, or if you just need more vacuum ports. Do not use these for boost though. These are not where you would put a boost gauge because there's no boost coming through the throttle body. So do not use these for boost gauges. Also, the kit comes with plugs and 1 barb fitting over there that will help you with your crankcase ventilation. I don't like the barb fitting they give you, so I usually buy a different one. So here's the barb fitting they give you. It's for like $1/4. I usually go 3/8 stuff for my lines over there, so I'm going to just change this out. But the caps they give you to block off those other things in case you ever want them are right here. You just Teflon tape them and thread them on, and then you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to Teflon tape and thread 3 of these on, then I'm going to go look for a barb fitting. All right, now flip over your supercharger and put your water lines on. As you can see, I kind of upgraded the clamps just because these are so much easier to work with to hook those hoses on. Now, we're going to go and make sure this is all cleaned off, pull off our tape, and start dropping that supercharger bad girl right on there. Okay, so now you got the supercharger all built and all that stuff, and it's all ready to go on. You're going to start with your gaskets. So, my gaskets weren't that bad, but I just went in brand new ones. There's the part number for it. You get these at FCP Euros where I got mine, or just right at the dealer. So, one little tip of what's going to make it easier is what's right here. See these little studs right here? These are old bolts that I cut off a long time ago. They're going to work as dowels. So then I can just take my gasket, well, make sure I got my gasket going the right way, put it right there, and right there, once I get it in that little hole, and then I don't got to worry about moving the gasket or having it fall around. Because now, gasket can't move at all. So I'll go throw the other one on there, and then we'll be really, really good. So now that we're all ready, we got all of our lines, we got everything on there, we're ready to put the supercharger back on the engine. So like I showed you, I did the dowels. Once again, if you have a significant other or anyone else, please have them help you do this. Do not do this by yourself. Or if you have a friend. My friend is out there doing some sort of weird pride stuff that's neither here nor there. But we're going to lift this up by myself, and we're going to throw it on there. I got my little cart to get me lined up over there. I got my cardboard and my big boy pants on. Something. Okay, now that you got it all dropped in there, which was a little bit interesting, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I've done multiple of them. Now, literally to install it, you're going to do the exact same thing in order of how you pulled everything off, just in reverse. The only thing that will be a little bit different now is going to be your crankcase lines. So I'm going to start knocking out all my stuff, and then I'm going to show you how to kind of like modify and make the crankcase stuff work for the 92mm throttle body. So just literally go in reverse and put everything right back in, and then when I get to that part, I'll put the camera back on. Alright, now that you got the supercharger more or less bolted up, you got a couple things back on there. Now, before you go too far, make sure you do your crankcase set up, so it's going to be a little bit different than my E55, just because I think this is going to be better. So I got my factory hose, and then I got a 3/8 T-fitting, and then this is also the other end of the factory hose. See? I just tugged it a little bit, and then you get a set of 3/8 line going right over here into a 90 3/8 at BT, and I think that looks so much cleaner than my E55 one. Let me show you my E55 one. So if you look at my E55 one, you see right here how I kind of made this like jumping loop thingy with all this like cruster back there and like lines everywhere. Not a fan of it, so this new way looks so much effing cleaner. But not bad. Alright, so we got everything back on. Everything fits really well. I started purging the coolant system. That's why I got my grill off for my intercooling system. And it's coming out pretty well. And everything does fit nice. Now, this little intake's just right off AutoZone or O'Reilly's or little Spectrum one, I think they're called. They had a lifetime warranty, so as long as you keep the receipt, if they go bad or break, or not break, but like just get dirty, go get a new one. That's why I buy them, because they're so convenient. But now the most important part is getting the tune on there, because you do need to tune the car for this. So, make sure you got your car on the trickle charger, make sure you got your fan off, and then you go right to your tuning. So, this is from VTech, sent me a tune. Open the back girl up. This is basically just, like I said, Sl55 tune. Cats delete, well, just primaries, not secondary. Secondary air pump 550 injectors, so on and so forth. Now we'll download it. Oh, one thing, if you do not unplug your fan, as you see, it will stay on high blast, and that will slowly drain your battery. So, unplug it. Do not do. I'm just doing this just to show you. But that fan effing blows, like, woo, woo, look at it. Even from over here, that's blowing that really good. Alright, so now we got the tune, we're going to fire this bad girl up. Let's go look. So it looks like I got, or it doesn't sound anything bad or anything weird. So let it run for a little bit, do a couple revs. I don't really think we're going to hear the whine that much because we have a factory clutch style pulley. So the supercharger probably won't like whine up, but maybe when we go to a pool it will, but it's looking pretty nice so far. No astronomical like rub, like it has a huge air leak or nothing really crazy. So we'll let it warm up for a little bit and then we'll probably get some fuel and take it for a ride. Alright, so we got the throttle body all installed. We're now going to pull it out on the road and do a nice little quick little pull in Mexico. See if we see any like supercharger whine, like some cool noises, or if the car feels any faster. Remember, all this car has done to it is a VTech tune, intake, 92mm throttle body, and the ported sound, everything we did today, and then 550 injectors. It's not really a lot of performance mods, but let's see what it does. the car pulls a lot harder now. Like, either it's just in my mind, but it feels like it's pulling so much harder now. We're spinning the rear tires a little bit now. Granted, I didn't put no heat in them, but the car's, I like it a lot. Now, as you can see from the video, you do hear a whine, but you hear a whine when the supercharger kicks in. Now, on like my E55, you actually can hear the whine like so much more aggressive, but we're doing a factory clutch styles pulley compared to a 77mm fixed pulley, so there's going to be a difference there. But overall, I do like the kit. I found one little thing wrong with the kit. Now, this is mainly because there's something else not right on the car, and I just noticed it's doing a little bit of damage, but let me show you. So, if you can see, let's try to get a little bit brighter in here. If you can see right here, I got a rub mark, and then right, where is it? Right there, on my hood. So, my motor mounts are bad. So now when I floor it, the car rocks. I'm going to see if I could try to spin that throttle body some other way, but as of right now, you could see how it's rubbing on the hood as I actually accelerate because it's rocking, the hood's lifting up. So I got to either get new motor mounts, which they're bad anyways, but I'm going to look into, because I've seen some of those fixed motor mounts are actually shorter, so I might drop the motor down a little bit. So that's the only really problem I see, but besides that, I'm super happy with the kit. It makes it, the whole engine bay looks so much cooler now with that little bit of billet, all the red, all that, everything looks good. So super happy with the kit. Install was pretty easy. So if you guys like this one, like and subscribe, throw a comment down, share it with your friends, watch my ads, that does help, or even just let the video like play out, watch the whole thing, all that stuff does help. Hopefully in the next like video or two, I'm either going to be taking this car out to see the new 6130 pulls, because I saw the last ones were like 10.4 on stock, so I want to see how much more power this actually added. Then, now I'm probably going to start looking into motor mounts and probably some more go fast fun parts. So hopefully you liked the video, and I'll catch you guys later.